I think joining a running club is one of the best things that somebody, especially if you're young and you might be particularly out of shape, or perhaps you have maybe little to no aspirations in life. I think, in my opinion, joining a running club is one of the best things people can do. It's like, yeah, sure, you could join a gym, you could go lift, and that's a great thing to do too. I think people should also lift as well. But the reason why I suggest people join a running club is not necessarily as much for the physical gains and the aerobic gains that you can endure, that you get to carry with you for pretty much just about as long as you live. Well, not entirely true, but it's a sort of skill capacity you can carry with you for a long time. Even for me, it's like, I've been running for many years now, and if I stop running completely for a year, if somebody put a gun to my head a year later and told me run 3 miles right now, I could. It probably hurt a lot, but I know for a fact that my body, bear the fact that some freak accident happens or I gain like 100 pounds within that year time span, I know for a fact that I will be able to complete that. But aside from those benefits, I think the social aspect when it comes to running clubs it's priceless, to be quite honest. I have been part of multiple running clubs. I've been part of whether they're serious competitive teams such as high school cross country, track and field. I've been part of college clubs. I've done more casual. I've actually been a part of a boomer running club at one point. That was a lot of fun. And now I'm going to be part of a running club, a part of my university here in Japan. And for me, I see that as a great way for me to make new connections, be able to practice my Japanese, because the club is like 98% Japanese, to be quite honest. So that's something that's going to incentivize me to improve my Japanese. But the social aspect really is a massive part, I think, of why people can really find their sort of social circle within that club, especially when it came to high school, when it came to undergrad, university. That's how I found my friend group, especially for the first 2-3 years. Like first day of school, I was in a running club, and right away I had my friend circle. All those people I was roommates with throughout all of university. And to be quite honest, like, for whatever reason, running clubs tend to attract very good people, wholesome people, for the most part. It's just something about the sport of running, the fact that a sport like that requires a lot of discipline. It requires enduring a lot of pain. And when you endure pain with others, you tend to grow stronger. You tend to create a stronger bond with other people. And it's like, it's similar. I guess it's somewhat similar when you do that for other sports. But the reason why I wouldn't suggest, like, let's say join a soccer club, is that they tend to be more cliquey. And also in terms of the skill gap, if you're someone who's beginner trying to go into a club, usually you need a tryout for running club. You need to have some sort of foundational skill before you can join one. Even if you have like intermediate skills like I do myself, I would still have a very hard time, being able to successfully complete tryout for even for a university club team, let alone a varsity team, of course. But I find that to be extremely difficult to do. So that's why I would suggest a running club. And that's another great thing about running, is like, you don't need to be someone who's ran before to join running. And that's for the overwhelming majority of running clubs. You need little to no experience to join. The the thing about running clubs is that there's a really wide spectrum in terms of people, in terms of skills of people. Well, I don't know what the hell that is. So you have people that join that have never ran in their life, looking for people to, click with. You have people that have been doing it for years, like myself, that perhaps want to be super competitive with it and want to compete in races and, want that sort of, want to get that sort of adrenaline for improving yourself and kicking other people's asses. That's kind of the boat I'm in. And of course, there are a lot of people in the middle where they see running sort of as a hobby. Perhaps they won't be putting as much mileage as you. Perhaps you're somebody that's like, if you're concerned about joining a running club and it's going to be a bunch of people who are absolutely like top 1% in their sport, that's not necessarily the case. The thing is like, especially in that sort of middle 80%, it's mostly people that sort of see running as a hobby, and they just like to use that as a form of exercise in order to improve themselves. And of course, the whole social benefits thing. And it's like, so that's the great thing about running, is like, even if you're a complete beginner, you're always going to find somebody to run with. Doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter how bad you are, you will always find somebody to run with. And that's another great thing about running clubs, is that usually they're pretty massive, especially if you go to a major university. So the one I'm joining has about anywhere between 150 to 200 people. That's massive. That's more opportunities to make more friends, and you can find friend groups within those running clubs, right? And it's like, it's one of those things where you kind of get out what you put in. If you're somebody who wants to put in more mileage, if you're somebody who wants to, be at practice multiple times a week and really try to, make yourself sort of like a family, or try to integrate yourself into that team family, because that's usually the thing about running clubs. It's like, it's kind of, it really is like a family. Like, you're, especially, let's say you're going into your undergrad, by the time you finish your 4 years, you're giving your goodbye speech or whatever at whatever closing ceremonies or award ceremonies they have at the end of the year. You're probably going to cry, because you're going to make a lot of memories. That's another thing that's great about running clubs, is like, it's not just about running. They do so many massive group social things. So the running club I was part of at my undergrad, like for Labor Day, we would go to this really nice lake that was about 20 minutes away from campus, and we had people drive us there. And it was just kind of like our little localized beach along the lake, where people can play around, play in the water, throw a football around, play games. It was so much fun. And then we do things like that. We'd have pasta parties before races. We would just do a lot of things together as a group. And then eventually, perhaps the people within your class, you'll find you'll find people that you click with the most, and then you'll have your own little group of like 3 or 8 or 10 people or so. To be quite honest, I feel like a club like that is one of the best ways to improve your social skills. If you're somebody who's super introverted, the nice thing about those clubs is, if they see you're somebody new, whoever, either the most extroverted people in the club are, or the leaders of the club, they're the ones that are going to approach you and make you feel welcomed right away. They're going to make it, from their perspective, they see it as an honor that you come into their club and you become part of their circle, and everybody's happy at the end, right? And so, again, I think it's really just one of the best things people can do. And of course, it's like, it's just a great way to stay in shape. It's like, especially if you're somebody who's just getting into running, it's just something to, it's a habit. It's a new habit, a new skill that you can, even like, let's say you just want to get fit, you just want to lose some weight. That's absolutely a great thing to do, right? So I'm very excited to be joining the running club here at my university. I think it's going to be an excellent way for me to make new friends and new connections. I've already made some friends here for sure. However, I particularly was looking for a running club just because that I knew is the type of thing I'd sort of fit in right away. I am someone who's very extroverted, so it is very easy for me to approach somebody, even if it's somebody who's we're in a little social circle and I know they probably only speak Japanese. I'll try my best, even if it's terrible Japanese. Because the thing is, it's like when I try to talk sometimes, the thing is, it's like, you think you know a lot, and then for whatever reason, when you actually talk to somebody, you start to freeze up, and then you start to forget everything. And then, it's not a fun experience. So yeah, that's my experience with running clubs. I would highly recommend, if you guys, even if it's somewhere, let's say out of college, let's say you're in your late 20s, you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, and you're actually out in the real world. That's the thing. It's like it's kind of it's a similar vibe with the people in running clubs that have much older people. They're usually people that perhaps have been running most of their lives, or even people in their 30s, 40s who are running for the first time in their lives. And I think that's something that can be a great experience for people, even at that old of an age. Now, of course, you got to learn the skills of how to take care of yourself and such, and how to not get injured. But that's something you kind of figure out as you go. But that's sort of everything I gotta say. If you're on this channel for the first time, go ahead and watch some of my other videos. I'll try to post as much running content as possible. Sometimes it'll just be very general about Japan. I try to integrate it as much as I possibly can, but always remember, it's never been easier to be above average. Take care.